travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Staff where we have briefed them on the situation, and they agree with us that we cannot vote in order to retain positions, but against the wishes of the residents of Johannesburg.
That the wishes of the residents of Johannesburg, if you are so unhappy with service delivery, you would have heard that many of them have complained about the state of Johannesburg. The president himself has raised concerns, and yet when you had the opportunity to do it, and not because, it would have changed things, the mayor would have been out, because the numbers were still with that government of local unity. But you're on the right side of history. At least you've done something. That's what history records. So, do you see it differently? Do you think Action SA are just protecting their interests in Tshwane? Or do you think this was good strategy on the part of Action SA? And yes, they sit comfortably, you could argue, in Tshwane because they are the kingmaker, whether they are with the DA or with the ANC. But nothing is cast in stone in politics. Things could change. Let me know your thoughts about how Action SA has moved yesterday. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. You can send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. Guess who's still fighting for dual membership? The former president, Jacob Zuma. So the MK party this morning releases a statement confirming that Jacob Zuma has launched an application today against President Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC in the High Court to set aside what Action SA says it's the unlawful decision of the ANC to terminate his 65-year-long membership of the ANC. And the statement goes on to say the president is on record saying that his membership of the real ANC of Luthuli, Tambo and Mandela cannot be erased by sellouts and the DA puppets like Ramaphosa and Mbalula. The MK party is fully behind President Zuma in this groundbreaking case, which will hopefully see his dual membership of the MK party and the real ANC, not the sellout ANC of Ramaphosa, restored. So President Cyril Ramaphosa, Jacob Zuma, clearly still fighting to get and retain his membership of the ANC, or the real ANC, as he says. What do you think of that? Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do our hanging out feature. And today, I'm going to be hanging out with Siboniso Gaxa. He's a retired soccer player. He's an aspiring lawyer as well. He's been around. He played for SuperSport United. He played for Mamelodi Sundowns at some point. He moved abroad to play in Belgium, came back to join Kaizer Chiefs. And I think that's probably where he enjoyed, arguably, the most successful spell of his career. Remember during those years, winning the 2 PSL titles, the Nedbank Cup, the MTN 8, making nearly 90 appearances. Bidvest Vets as well, he was there. Clement
Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement. I think you're being unfair, and even some listeners on 702, they are being unfair to Action SA. Action SA is balancing things as the same as DA is balancing things at national. They are in coalition with ANC in Tshwane. DA is in coalition with ANC at national. So, what is the difference?
But who's criticizing the Action SA from being in a coalition with the ANC? I'm not criticizing them for that. I'm saying be careful of taking what politicians say and they want to position themselves as heroes. Like, look at us, we abstained. Oh, please. Why are you abstaining? If you're so appalled by service delivery in the city, just like the president is, if you are so dissatisfied with the leadership of the mayor, why are you still abstaining? Huh? Imagine being in a jury. If you're in the US system, you're in the jury, and here's somebody that you are so convinced murdered someone, but you abstain from a vote. But you are so convinced that this Abel committed a murder. Why are you abstaining? Be on the right side of history. Not everything has to be about political expediency. But then, these are politicians. What do we expect? And I'm just saying, remember that politicians are always going to come and lie to you as if whatever decisions they take are in your best interests. And I'm saying, have foresight. Don't take whatever politicians say and think, oh, they care about me, that's why they abstained. Ask critical questions. If they are so appalled, why are you not voting? Why are you voting him out? It's because they're trying to protect their political interests, including what's happening in Tshwane. Because if you vote out the mayor in Johannesburg, do you think the ANC is just going to smile at you and allow for you to continue running Tshwane with their support? It doesn't work like that in politics.
Hi, Clement. The clip that you just played of Michael Bowman, the chairperson of Action SA, I'm actually shocked that he is the one now saying that the problem wasn't the ANC, but actually Data Morero. So the problem now is no longer ANC, which has been running Joburg for so many years into the ground, but now it's Data Morero the problem. Do these politicians even listen to themselves when they speak sometimes? This is just a disgrace, and it's shocking, actually. Wow. This is Mdu in the Val.
Morning, Clement and 702 listeners. Regarding former President Jacob Zuma's membership of the ANC, I think it is just an emotional feeling. That's why he mentioned there that he has been a member for 65 years. So he would have wanted this record to be broken by himself, maybe by resigning, not to be done by somebody else in the case of being dismissed. Then regarding the ANC that he says he wants to join off Luthuli and OR Tambo and whatever, this is not the same ANC, so why would he want to join? Because the current one is for Ramaphosa and Mbalula, and he says those are sellouts. So which ANC is he joining now? Because there's only one ANC. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the thing. He wants to retain his membership of the quote unquote real ANC. But which is that then? Because it's gone. ANC of Luthuli, I mean, on his account, he says that no longer exists. Because of the ANC of Figile, Malula and Cyril Ramaphosa is not a real ANC. So why are you still trying then to retain your membership because the ANC is no longer what it used to be? Yeah, I don't know. But I wonder what they're going to say to Floyd Shivambu. Floyd tomorrow has a briefing. I don't know what he's going to announce. He may very well say, okay, we've heard you, South Africa. We're starting a new party. And then watch, if Floyd says, I'm not going to resign from the MK party, I'm going to hold dual membership. What are they going to do? They allowed it. I mean, in this statement, even in their constitution, in fact, they justify the dual membership. Question is that only applicable for a president of the MK party because he is the powerful, respected Jacob Zuma, and anybody else is not going to be allowed to hold dual membership? In fact, Abel, please find me the clip of, there was who remembers the Secretary General, one of the many Secretary Generals of the MK party? I remember I interviewed him on Face the Nation and I asked him about if Jacob Zuma, the president of the MK party, can have dual membership, are you going to allow other members of the MK party to also hold dual membership? And he couldn't respond to that question. There was dead air. He was silent. So many seconds. And that just tells you that sometimes there are people who are serving an individual, but they can't explain some of the principles that have guided the decisions that serve that individual, especially when you try to apply it across the board. Politics, eh? It's 20 minutes after 9.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
23 minutes after 9 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. Your calls on 011-883-0702. WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. Jabulisile, you are in Midrand. Good morning.
Morning, Marimecha. How are you?
Ke gona le kae?
Re tsogile ngwana gesho. Clement, I'm so disappointed with Action SA. I think it's its own enemy because you know what? They formed this party on the ticket of getting rid of the ANC. But now, yesterday, them abstaining from voting, you know, it says a lot about them because most of their voters, they voted for them because they didn't want the ANC. And now, I don't understand why did they abstain. They should have voted to get rid of Tara Morero, but instead they were saving their own skin so that they could keep their mayor in Tshwane. And I'm so disappointed with this party, really.
Right, Jabulisile in Midrand. Thank you for your call. Tabiso in Polokwane. What do you want to say? Hi.
Clement, maybe perhaps we need to start this thing from the beginning. You know, Jacob Zuma was elected as the president of the ANC in 2007. And among many other people who were involved upon his election, I was a delegate to that 2007 conference, was Fikile Mbalula, who was the president of the Youth League. He actually even postponed the conference of the Youth League so that Zuma can get a free passage from the ANC Youth League. Remember the noise that was there between 2000 and again, Jacob Zuma got elected again as the president of the ANC in 2012 in Mangaung. And who was his deputy president at that particular time? So now, all these people that he claims that they are leading the current ANC and they are not the correct ones. He was involved in them either deputizing or being involved in his campaign to be elected, subsequently as the president of the ANC and the country. So now, for him to have lost a particular conference, and therefore now he start to see he's born again. Now he start to see this wrong ANC is actually perplexing. Jacob Zuma is actually playing with us. He wants to keep himself in the public, like what Bob Floyd and many other people do, just to keep yourself talking to the media, going to court and all of that, and avoiding all the challenges that is actually facing in terms of his party that is dwindling, secondly, his court cases and many other issues. The man loves court cases. That you must know. If there's one thing that will keep himself going, it's court. So now I'm not worried about what he's actually doing. Just want to keep himself in the media so that these people can go up, can go there and start singing. No, Jacob Zuma is the one who has led the ANC. But what about his involvement in the leading of the ANC for a period of 10 years? Why is he discounting it and saying, no, I've led the ANC correctly, this is what I've done. If indeed he has led the ANC correctly, we wouldn't have had a constitutional court case that said we must have a state capture commission. With Jacob Zuma, by the way, it happened in that way. So now, we're dealing with all these particular problems that we're faced with as a result of his own doing. And all these people that he claims that these are not the correct people of the ANC. Maybe they see Jesus Christ now this once. We'll see.
We'll see. Tabiso in Polokwane, thank you for your call. By the way, as you anticipate Floyd Shivambu's briefing tomorrow, because I don't know, I don't know if he's decided that he wants to start a new party, but if he does decide he wants to start a new party, I wonder if he's going to try and say, I'm retaining my membership as an MK party member, or I'm resigning from the MK party. But in case he's going to claim that he's retaining his membership, maybe we should remind him of what he had said when he was in the MK party.
Members of MKP are not allowed to be members of another political party except organization and formal alliances with the MKP. So, save for exceptional and strategic circumstances approved by the officials. So the case and the situation of our president and Commander General President is a strategic circumstance.
It's a strategic circumstance. So nobody else can do it but the president. So if he comes tomorrow and says, yeah, but I'm retaining my membership of MK and I'm going to have this party because the president did it, he himself, as the drafter of the constitution of the MK, said only the president, and that's for strategic purposes. Hey? It's 28 minutes now, after 9 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
How do you navigate awkward conversations about prenups when you get married? I'm asking you this question because I was having a chat with the producers this morning about the Amazon founder and one of the world's richest men. I don't know if you've been following the story, Jeff Bezos. So he seems like he doesn't want to take chances with his upcoming wedding to his girlfriend. I think it's Lorraine Sanchez. And this comes after his much publicized, remember that divorce in 2019 from his first wife, Mackenzie Scott. I mean, that cost him an estimated 38 billion rand. Billion dollars, not rands. $38 billion. That's a lot of money. And at the time, that made her ex-wife one of the wealthiest women in the world. And this time around, because he's preparing to marry this girlfriend, Lorraine, he wants an ironclad prenuptial. And lawyers are representing both parties and they continue to wrangle. I thought this only happens in the movies where you see lawyers representing the wife-to-be, lawyers representing the husband-to-be, and they're having tough conversations about how tight the contract is going to be because they're thinking about their interests. But it actually happens in real life. And it's gotten to a point where the wedding has even been postponed because the lawyers are not finding each other. I mean, as you can imagine, the lawyers for the wife are like, if the proverbial ish hits the fan, this wife must walk away with at least $30 billion or something. Whereas on the other side, his lawyers are like, I need a watertight contract because the last time I lost $38 billion and I made another woman the richest woman in the world. And I wonder how you've navigated those conversations in your own scenario. How do you talk about this? Because I find it to be so awkward. And I don't know when I get to that stage how I'm going to navigate that chat. Huh? How did you talk about how your marriage is going to be defined and contracted? When you discuss prenuptials, are you married in community of property? How did you decide on that? Did your wife push you to it? Your husband push you to it? Or are you someone who has decided to have a watertight contract? You've got a prenup, and whatever belongs to you, whatever belongs to me, belongs to me. But how did you navigate that chat? Because some people are so sensitive that they can be offended by a conversation when you bring up a prenup and you say, I want us to just keep our own stuff. Because then you're thinking, oh, are you anticipating a divorce at some point? How do you navigate conversations like that? How have you navigated them? Please share your stories with us. Give me a call on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. It's 9:31.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 23 minutes now before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. We're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line on 072-702-1702. Here's the clip of that former MK Party Secretary General I was telling you about earlier. And his name is Sfiso Maseko. He was the MK Party Secretary General at the time. This is when they were trying to explain this dual membership of President Jacob Zuma for MK Party and the ANC. This was on Face the Nation many, many months ago. Can you hold a dual membership? Can you hold it in the organization? Like be a member of the MK and be a member of another party?
I think when you look in terms of when you join in terms of MK, you join an MK and you become a volunteer within MK, and you become an activist within MK, and that's what our constitution is concentrating on. It's concentrating in terms of, we must have in terms of members that we've had from the philosophy and ideology that they align with the Pan-Africanism approach.
Yeah, but that didn't answer the question, right? I mean, he paused there for a number of seconds, then doesn't answer the question because they struggled to explain, can members do that? And if members can't do that and it's just the president, what kind of party is that where there are certain rules that are only applicable to all members and others only applicable, the other principles only applicable to the president of the party? Well, I'm playing you that clip on the back of what the MK party has communicated this morning. They released a statement saying that the president of the MK party today has launched an application against the decision by the ANC. So he wants the decision to be set aside as unlawful, the decision by the ANC to terminate his 65-year-long membership of the African National Congress. 20 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
So what conversations have you had with your partner about prenups, about getting married in community of property? Was it awkward? How did you navigate that? It's such a sensitive conversation. And I think it just really requires maturity, and you've got to put yourself aside. You don't want to be seen as someone who anticipates a breakup or someone who wants to benefit from someone's riches or investments or what they've managed to invest in and amass for themselves. And this is based on what Jeff Bezos, one of the world's richest men, has done. In fact, to be fair on the ex-wife, by the way, Lauren, the reason, no, that's the girlfriend, Lauren, the ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, who walked away with an estimated 38 billion rand. The reason there could also be that they sort of started their company together, Amazon, right? And maybe that's part of the reason why that amount of money is so high. But either way, there are so many marriages that end up in divorce where either it's the husband or the wife who walks away with a lot of money. Do you have a watertight contract, and how did you navigate that? How did you negotiate that with your partner? Or are you a type of person who didn't care? You're just in love and you said, let's go in deep. If there are risks here, I'm willing to absorb those.
Chairman, hi, this is Soli. What is the difference between a prenuptial and a funeral plan or funeral insurance? Surely you should anticipate and plan for both: a divorce, the end of a shared life, and the end of life here on earth.
I guess the difference is with a funeral, when you're planning for that, all of us know that we're going to die, right? Aren't we all going to die? But when you are there, walking that aisle, and you're there in front of the pastor or whatever, an elder, whichever way you get married, and you say, till death do us part, apart or part, do us part, apart. So what do you mean by that? That means you're saying till the end. And I suppose that's the difference. And that's if for those who have, of course, said those kind of vows, because some people don't say those. They just speak from the heart and they keep it going, keep it moving. So with the funeral, we all know we're going to. But with marriage, not all of us. In fact, if anything, when you are at the point of getting married, aren't you at your happiest? I'd like to believe so. I mean, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Those people who are married, when you are getting married, aren't you at your happiest? And when you are at your happiest, you are seeing, I'm dying with this person. Like, we're going to be together for the rest of our lives. Death is what's going to separate us. Yeah, I would say that's sort of the difference I see there.
Good morning, Clement. When we got married, we were advised to have an ANC and anti-nuptial contract because I'm a business owner, and if something were to go wrong from a legal point of view, it means that at least half of the assets in the marriage would be protected. Thank goodness nothing like that has ever happened, and we don't even use the D word, i.e. divorce, in our home. So it's got nothing to do with contingency plans of a possible future breakup, but it was a good part of legal advice that we were given.
Hi, Clement. With regards to the marriage of Jeff Bezos and this whole prenuptial agreement saga, I find it very odd and strange. I mean, the fact that you raise the point of prenuptial agreement, it simply means that you don't really trust your marriage. You actually believe that somewhere down the line, this marriage is going to go off. So why bother getting married in the first place if that thought comes to your mind? I'm married, and the last thing I'll ever think of is, okay, should we ever divorce? How are we going to split everything in half? The fact that that topic comes to the subject, I mean, I feel like you don't trust each other, or I feel like you still see that, no, down the line, she's going to leave me or I'm going to leave her. So I feel like in the first place, if you ever feel, or if that thought ever comes to your mind, don't get married. Joe, thanks.
So, okay.
Hi, Clement and the 702 family. So my situation is slightly different. First, I was married in community of property. Then, because my partner was taking loans without my consent, and the bank seemed to grant it. Because they wanted to do businesses and all. We had a post-nuptial agreement. The lawyers drafted that for us just to, protect myself, because, if somebody else is taking loans and, this life is not guaranteed, I didn't want to be left with so much debt. That's my story.
And that makes sense, right? I mean, that absolutely makes sense to me. But someone else may be offended. And I wonder if you would be willing to walk away if your partner says, no, I do not want to get married to you in community of property. Keep what you own, I keep what I own, and maybe we can share whatever we, both invest in. Is that a deal breaker for you? Huh? Spiwe, you're in Durban. Good morning.
Hey, morning, Clement. How are you?
Sharp, man. How are you?
Good. I'm all right, man. I was touched by that gentleman that phoned and said having a funeral policy is no different than having. So for me, this is just me. Maybe it's because my background, and I'm talking about me, secure only, guys. I'm from a Christian background, and for when my wife and I got married 21 years ago, that was not even a discussion. We just got married, and we are still married, very heavy, 21 years later on. I can't imagine myself with anyone else but the lady that I'm with right now. However, in a perfect world, my opinion, there should not be a prenup agreement in a perfect world. If someone really finds their soulmate, so-called soulmate, I think I did. I was one of the fortunate ones to find the soulmate. However, it's not a perfect world. So because there's so many things happening, I do understand the thing of the prenup, but I'm not so sure of the comparison of that general policy and the prenup agreement. So that's my opinion. Superior from Durban.
Thank you, Superior. I got you. Superior in Durban, thank you for your call.
Yes, Clement, you are at your happiest when you're getting married, but then you're not at your blindest, because you must be able to foresee that things happen. There's debts, as in dikoloto, that might just be the proverbial ish. So you want to protect your partner from things that aren't visible now, but could hinder your happiness in the future. So you're protecting your partner, your future children, and all those things. So you're happy, but then you want to keep that happiness intact in case things happen. So we signed the ANC for those reasons, not because I'm planning on divorcing you, but I want to stay with you forever so that we will able to deal with financial problems should we come across those in the future in a way that is able to protect you as my husband, you see.
Yeah, but that's such a mature way of putting it. It is. David and Bram, hi. Hey, David.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Good, man. You know, I was actually coming into this and I was listening to what you're saying, and it actually intrigued me because I recently had a conversation with a bunch of friends about this. So personally, I do have a prenuptial agreement.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things when I was dating my partner. We dated for close to 8 years before we officially got married.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that we discussed. We said, look, when we get married, we're going to have this thing, and it's going to be not only to protect both of us from a situation if one is taking loans and so on, but also in case things happen, because at the end of the day, it is life. You grow old together. Maybe your tastes might change. And one of the things that we actually found was there was this lawyer, I just forget his name, who was sharing his experiences in the divorces and putting together prenuptial agreements. And what we found is that with him and his colleagues, majority of the people that actually have prenuptial agreements are less likely to get divorced. And the whole premise around it focused on the fact that you're able to have the conversations that you need to have in order to have a prenuptial agreement.
Yeah.
Makes it more likely that you're able to have those conversations in a marriage. Because a marriage, at the end of the day, is a partnership and it is a contract, which people don't actually discuss quite a bit. It's a contract. You are marrying this person and they're becoming one of you, you know? So at the end of the day, because it is a contract, you need to at some level treat it as though there's a legal concept or an element in it that needs to be discussed between two mature people.
Yeah. David and Bram, thank you for your call. It's 10 minutes before 10.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
8 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's continue with your WhatsApp voice notes.
Hi, Clement. So I think the challenge with anti-nuptial is that people need to understand that it talks to the dissolution of a marriage either on death or divorce. So, you know, the gentleman that called in just now that was talking about how can you even go into marriage thinking that you'll get divorced? It's not necessarily for divorce purposes. It's if one of the spouses die, what must happen with the estate, what must happen with the money. It's also to protect your partner. If you have shares in companies, if you, there's liability issues, and if you have your own business and your business goes belly up, that they can't come after your partner. So it's really not just for divorce. It's also to protect your spouse for numerous other reasons. Thanks. James, Pretoria.
Clement, marrying out of community is the best thing that has ever happened to humankind. I was in the same situation. I am married out of community. My husband was in death. I remember the sheriff of the court came to attach things, but I proved that most of the stuff in the house were mine and they couldn't do anything. And our ladies, they think that if you marry out of community, then the guy doesn't love you. No. Out of community is the way.
Good day, Clement. This is Busani. I think we are complicating this in terms of the way we think and maybe the way we've been raised up. Now think about this. When we get into a car, we all put on a safety belt. We do this without even thinking twice about it, because we know there is a chance of us getting into an accident. And if that accident actually happens, we would like our chances of survival to be higher than the opposite of that. Thank you.
What I own it, me. Clement, hey, Joel Hatsibi Mutu. Redilali Batu mo. A person can change any time. Nobody gets married to be divorced, but things happen. He must never think he's a Superman. Aye. None of us, nobody wants to get divorced, but it happens. So never tell people, if you believe that thought comes to mind that one day something's going to happen, don't get married. No. People outgrow each other. That's what they say. But from my personal experience, people do change. So you must always leave a gap while you pray and believe that you got married for life until death do you part. That's what we all want. That's what we strive for, and we shall continue. But there's always a possibility the person will leave. God bless you, King Peter.
Good morning, Clement. My whole stance about the prenup is, if you're not going to share everything that you have, your money, yourself, your assets, then why get married? Just stay dating. Just be each other's plus one forever.
Hi, Clement. Getting married out of community of property, for me, has got nothing to do with whether you love each other that much or you foresee yourself in future being divorced. For me, it's the protection of the assets against creditors in the event of one partner falling into debt zone.
I see.
If one partner falls into financial troubles, then if you are married in community of property, unfortunately, that's the end of it. But if you've got out of community of property, whether with or without accrual, then it's a shield for something for the family, so that one partner can keep the family going while the other is still sorting out his financial problems. For me, that's the key. It's got nothing to do whether if I love you that much, I see myself dying with you and all those kind of things. It's just asset protection. Thank you.
And I think that's fair. That's a fair explanation, no? Strategic. Just makes sense to me.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.